is from Complete Anatomy. I found it really helpful to learn the CSF flow in the ventricular system. After this video, which is about a minute and a half, we'll talk about common causes of hydrocephalus and the two different types.
A ventricle is a hollow part or cavity within an organ. And here within the brain, there are going to be 4 ventricles that are connected fluid-filled cavities located within the center of our brain. To begin, we have 2 large lateral ventricles, one on the right side and one on the left side, which is partially hidden from this view. Now, the lateral ventricles could be thought of as numbers 1 and 2, as we're also going to have a 3rd ventricle and a 4th ventricle. Within the ventricles, we're going to have a delicate structure that is going to filter and create the actual CSF, and that is the choroid plexus. So the choroid plexus is going to be a very specified type of tissue that is going to produce the CSF. Now, CSF is going to play a very important role in not only helping to provide nourishment to our brain, but it's also going to bathe and help support the weight of the brain as it's going to be filling the subarachnoid space. Now, the same CSF that is made within the ventricles is going to be filling out here in the subarachnoid space. So how does it get from inside to outside, theoretically, within the brain? It's going to begin here in the lateral ventricle. So CSF production is going to occur along the curvature of these large lateral ventricles. It's then going to come anteriorly and then descend medially towards the midline. And this is going to be in a small specialized region known as the interventricular foramen. Those are going to connect back to the 3rd ventricle. And the 3rd ventricle has, in many individuals, a donut-like appearance, and it will be positioned right between the right and left thalamus of our brain. From here, the CSF is going to continue its flow postero-inferiorly, and it's going to descend down through a canal known as the cerebral aqueduct. The cerebral aqueduct is going to bypass the midbrain and the pons, and it's going to terminate at the 4th ventricle, a sort of pyramidal-shaped space anterior to the cerebellum, but posterior to the pons and the medulla. From here, the CSF can continue in a few different routes. It could descend inferiorly as a content within the spinal cord, or it could emerge laterally out around the sides of the brainstem and cerebellum to enter the subarachnoid space.
So this video just showed CSF flow. Now we can talk about hydrocephalus. So hydrocephalus can be caused due to an abnormal increase in fluid formation, also due to a decrease in fluid absorption, and also blockage of fluid, which is actually common for the non-communicating or obstructive hydrocephalus. The blockage of fluid, many times the cerebral aqueduct can be blocked, so this will allow fluid to be built up prior to that. So CSF flow is blocked before it exits the 4th ventricle, right? Because the cerebral aqueduct connects the 3rd and the 4th ventricle. Communicating or non-obstructive hydrocephalus is when CSF flow is blocked after it exits the 4th ventricle into the subarachnoid space. So it's called communicating because it communicates with the subarachnoid space. And so CSF is still able to flow into the ventricular system. Whereas non-communicating, the CSF will not be able to exit that 4th ventricle, so there's no communication with the subarachnoid space.